Good morning, Truth Serum Nation. Uh, it's me back again. Yeah, I'm going to do a couple more videos. They shut me down. First and foremost, God bless, God rest, Charlie Kirk, and everybody that died on 9/11. Let them all rest in peace. And I want to say something that, not to diminish Charlie Kirk's message with dialogue and having a common ground in life. In life, you have disagreements, you debate, common ground, maybe compromise. That sounds fine and dandy. Okay, rainbows and whistles. You're dealing with evil. You're dealing with a media, propaganda media, that's run by evil. You're dealing with politicians that are bought and paid for by global elitists, billionaires that are evil. So in the mafia, you have a sit down and you agree to something, and then, whether it holds or not, a lot of times it doesn't hold and people are smashing each other out. Yeah, okay. But what you're dealing here is they antagonize. Well, you know what? Well, the media and the politicians, well, that's one thing, the truth serum. It's the parenting. It's the parenting that should bring these kids up right. It's on the parents and all that. Well, okay, if that's your argument, that's fine. But you could still have the best parenting and best nature and nurture and cultivation of a child's mind. But when they get exposed to these politicians that are evil, and the CNN and these ABC and all this propaganda that's slowly indoctrinating their brains, as well as education systems, perverted, woked out rainbow education systems. Well, you could be raised by Mother Teresa and the Pope. It ain't going to be enough. So you have to hold the politicians and the media also responsible, and don't be antagonists. They antagonize the general public to Donald Trump. They're antagonists. But we have to have a level-headed discussion and a meeting, and we have to have compromise, and that's what Charlie Kirk stood for. Yes, that's fine and dandy. But, well, Jesus in the Bible, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus. What I'm going to say isn't that biblically sound, where it's turn the other cheek. It's people will come to their senses. No, that's like saying Lucifer will come to his senses. But we got to sit down and have a compromise and an educated debate and a meeting of the mind with Lucifer. So you can say that Charlie Kirk, God bless you and rest you. Yes, he did so much. He's instrumental in getting Donald Trump elected. You can say that, yes. But when you're dealing with Lucifer and it's deception, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's like the Colombo Mafia family sitting down with the Gambino family and they call a truce, and then somebody gets whacked out. It's like, well, you know they're gangsters, so you should know you had it coming. Well, what do you do when you're dealing with the Democrat Party that is based on perversion, perversion, everything against the Bible? You're fighting Lucifer. CNN News, it's Lucifer. These Democrat politicians, they're Lucifer. You can't sit down and have a level-headed discussion with these people. Dom Cicali, oh, you'll never see this, Dom Cicali. My friend just played your video for you. I love you, Dom. I love you. Dom's a former gangster, mafia, blah, 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 blah. Good guy, great thinking all the time. He's getting up there and he wants people to sit around the campfire and sing Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Yeah, you're going to get Lucifer to sit at a campfire and sing campfire songs, and we're all going to kiss and make up and walk away and skip through the freaking tulips. And, no, Dom, no. You should know better than anybody else being a captain in a mafia crime family. No, no, you're going to go back. So maybe what I'm getting at is if you don't retaliate, which is wrong, but you're dealing, this is good versus evil. So the good must remain good and evil must remain evil. And it just perpetuates on and on and on and on. And you just have to be strong in your faith. You have to be strong and just hope all that evilness will stop. Well, newsflash, Billy and Sally, it ain't going to stop. It ain't going to stop anytime soon. Lucifer doesn't take holidays off. Lucifer doesn't take sick days. Lucifer is on a winning streak. He's on a 2,000-year winning streak. So if you want to play in reindeer games, fight fire with fire. That's not a Christian thing to say, the truth, sir. What is the right thing to say, boys and girls? Sit there, get smashed. Everybody, this isn't only Charlie Kirk. This is 19 to 30 other targets that these Democrats, the media, and politicians have instigated to pollute these people's minds, as well as universities, Democrat universities, and George Soros and all those billionaires polluting the children's mind. It don't matter if you were raised by Mother Teresa and the Pope. Their minds are formidable. Their minds are developing, and you indoctrinate their minds like that. Fight fire. I'm a Christian. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for my blessings. I disagree with Dom Chicali. I love Dom Chicali. He's just a good guy. Former mafia gangster. He's got a channel. Check him out. Good guy. I love Dom Chicali. But he should know better than anybody else where revenge and retaliation is always in play. It's not biblical, but this is a fallen world. When in Rome, do like the Romans. This is a fallen world. So on the Capitol floor, they didn't want to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Those evil Democrats. What if there's people that want to retaliate? Are the people at CNN News? I don't promote violence, but I'm just saying this could come into play. They're sitting up there doing these stories. Well, just like a Republican could be taken out, anybody could be taken out. When you're just playing in this type of game, anybody's at risk. AOC, that evil Democrat, she canceled her speech today. I wonder why. She's a Democrat scumbag. I wonder why AOC canceled her speech. So nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. They want to instigate. They want to promote violence. All they've been saying since Trump has been in president, go after the Republicans. That's all the media has been spewing. That's what the Democrat politicians have been preaching all along. They preach hatred and violence to Republicans and Republican followers. That's their whole doctrine. That's their whole doctrine. What if there's Republican psychos that think, well, what about them? What about them? You just think it's one-sided. Republicans are Christian-based people. Democrats are evil-based people. So Christians aren't going to retaliate. They're going to be like the great Charlie Kirk and sit down and have dialogue. That's fine and dandy. It's imbalanced. One side wants to do the right thing. One side wants to do everything that's evil and more. What is the answer? I don't know. My opinion is, well, if when in Rome you do like the Romans, so an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So when CNN and ABC and all those talking heads get up there and promote violence and everything else, what if that violence ends up on their side? What if it's them? Because there's a crazy living in his mother's basement going, I don't like this talking head. I don't like this Democrat politician. I don't like this reporter on CNN. What if there's somebody sitting in their mother's basement thinking about those things? If taking people out is on the menu, if you put that on the menu and you normalize it, they've been normalizing this violence. They've been promoting this violence. They've been instigating this violence. They applaud when a Republican gets attacked and or taken out. They applaud it with straight faces. Well, there is no common ground. I'm looking like Dom Chicali inspired me for this. I love Dom, but there should still be some of that mafia thinking or I understand his objective and what he is saying. Well, let both sides meet. Well, you know what, Dom? Let both sides meet. What happened when both sides met, when the Colombos and the Gambinos met? Well, it was still business as usual. They've been meeting since Obama. They've been meeting since Obama, and it's been 16 years, 18 years, 19 years, but the same old one-sided violence and attacks and media promoting all this. So come on, Dom. I love you, buddy, but if you're going to come hard. Come hard. You know, I know you're a good man. You got good morals. You got true traditions, but I also know your background and history as a gangster. So come hard, bro. Come hard. So this is not to try to diminish Charlie Kirk's message and what he stood for. He was just a good human being. But that doesn't stray from the fact that you got to realize the playing field, the environment, the variables that are at play. Media, globalist billionaires, educators in colleges, the media, and politicians have got this violence agenda. If they don't agree with somebody, take them out. Dom, they're not sitting, meeting, and singing campfire songs, bro. They're not singing campfire songs. You could sing 1,000 campfire songs. When you depart from each other, they're going to go out and do the same stuff. In case you haven't noticed, bro. I like your show. I like your story, but you got to peel a little more layers back. You know, I ain't going to try to talk smack or anything like that out of respect, but I'm the truth serum. And they shut my channel down because I go uncensored. I go uncensored. They censored me. So now I'm not even on the algorithm, but I'm going to document it anyways. I'm going to document it anyways for the 5 people that'll watch this. All right. So let's see. What else do we have? Yeah. We covered a lot. The killer is, the suspected killer, his name is Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson, the suspected killer of Charlie Kirk. He wrote on the bullet, or I guess fascist or something. So you got an assassin, a suspected assassin that puts fascist and Marxist on the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk. Geez, what have the Democrats been calling Donald Trump since he went into office? A fascist? A Marxist? That sounds familiar, those terms. The bullet said fascist and Marxist. That took out Charlie Kirk. Geez, that rings a bell. That rings a bell. All the Democrat propaganda media has been saying in uh, all these shows around the clock that Republicans and Donald Trump and everybody else are Marxists and fascists. That's their go-to line. Boy, it's funny how that word got put on the bullet that killed Charlie. So who's been spewing all that? Who's been spewing all that juice? CNN around the clock, ABC around the clock, Democrat politicians around the clock. And it ends up on the bullet that killed one of the greatest human beings that God ever put on this earth, Charlie Kirk. A great human being, a great man in society across the board. The bullet that killed him has Marxist written on it. Wow. Where'd the assassin hear that? Where'd the assassin hear that term? Marxist. Turn on CNN, turn on ABC, watch these deranged psycho Democrats. That's all you hear is Marxist, Marxist. Yeah. They're the ones that are evil and are trying to destroy our country. They're the ones that have this dialogue on these propaganda networks that the evil owners, the evil billionaires promote. And all you hear is them getting right up there, straight face, and they've been normalizing violence since Trump got in office. They normalize it. They normalize it. The Republicans are Marxists. The Republicans are evil. They don't look at facts. They're indoctrinated. Their brains are polluted. You can't talk to the devil. Dom, you can't sit down and talk to Lucifer. He's going to fool you. You're going to sit down again, like the Mafia. They sit down. The Mafia sits down. They try to handle their problems. But when you go back to your territory, you're still going to keep smashing people out. Maybe it's in good faith. Yes, well, that's in good faith. We'll sit down and have dialogue. And that's what Charlie Kirk stood for. Yes. Beautiful. But this is a different situation. Look at the Democrat policies with Joe Biden in office. This is like Satan for a president. Perversion, no borders, just craziness across the board. It's good versus evil. You can't sit down and have a constructive, positive dialogue with Lucifer, the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, the talking heads on CNN, ABC, and all that. They're all bought and paid for. Give me $50,000 a month. Give me $50,000 a month. Maybe I could be bought and paid for, and I'll tell you anything you want, America. You get bought and paid for. Not me, but that's what they think like. The Whoopi Goldbergs, the Joy Bears, all those talking scumbags on CNN, Democrat politicians that are getting all kinds of money for votes and all that. Yeah, we know the game. We know the game very well. It's in your face. But when do you think, well, dialogue doesn't work? Let's sit down at a table and have a positive discussion, which Charlie Kirk did, and he did it well. One of the best patriots America ever had, Charlie Kirk. It's beautiful. But when the evil permeates to such a high level, you're not just dealing with fellow just common Americans that happen to be Democrats. You're not just dealing with common Americans and you could sway them. You could sway them to be more constructive with dialogue. You're not dealing with that element. You're dealing with people that are their innate DNA is evil. Well, then what do we do, the truth serum? Well, you know what I would do? Forgive me, Jesus. You know what I would do? Because every Republican is going around and they feel like they have a bullseye on their back. Many, 20 to 30 in the past year, have been targeted, and CNN keeps instigating it, as well as academia. Do they need a taste? Do they need a taste of their own medicine? That's not biblical. The devil is allowed to roam to and fro on planet Earth. Boy, he's having a good 2,000 years. So you sit back and turn the other cheek and turn the other cheek and turn the other cheek and turn the other cheek. Well, is that what you do, Dom Chicali? Or sometimes it's strength through peace. Sometimes dialogue does not work. Constructive dialogue. So when the ante gets raised up to a higher level, certain times call for certain actions. So what are you trying to say? Well, then they should feel threatened, because if this behavior is on the menu, then it's on the menu for everybody. If it's normalized for their agenda, then it could be normalized against them. So they better be very careful. These Democrat dinosaurs that have been tanking this country sold our country out. I'm a Democrat. I'm historically a Democrat, boys and girls. But I'm on the side of common sense and logic and biblical statutes, which the Democrats are all against. So I love the things Donald Trump has done. Well, I don't care if he's a Democrat, Republican. I like results. This ain't based on party. This is based on results. Don't be imbeciles. Oh, I'm just a Democrat. Oh, I'm just a Democrat, and I agree with everything that these psychopaths do. Really, Billy? Okay. All right. Philly Bob Francis, how you doing? I had to do a show, try to catch up on things. I'm not going to get a lot of views. You know, they shut me down. They shut me down because I thought there was freedom of speech. I thought there was freedom of speech, but obviously there's not, because they shut me down. So there's nothing they can't do. They already shut me down, but I'm going to get my 2 cents in, everything's good. So yeah, Donald Trump was at the Yankees game last night. And so you were in Buffalo, huh? Wow. You snubbed me, Francis. I'm just kidding. So I don't promote violence, but I'm just saying, if you look into the future, you can probably guess what might happen next. But when, like that Dowd for MSNBC, that talk show guy Dowd for MSNBC, he applauded Charlie Kirk's assassination, and then MSNBC fired him. Oh, really? MSNBC, you fired him? Like you have some type of moral compass or some kind of moral standard? You're the network that promotes the most instigation, right along with CNN. You're the network that promotes all this craziness. So now, MSNBC, what do you think? You're held in any type of higher esteem because you fired a scumbag that applauded Charlie Kirk's assassination? So you save face? Do you save face, MSNBC? You're the leader of the pack. You're the mother company that is the instigator and ringleader of all this. Well, we fired Mr. Dowd for those unsavory replies and remarks. Really, MSNBC? You're the scumbags that have all these talk show hosts on there. You pay them big money so they'll spew all this evil. But if Charlie Kirk isn't safe, if President Trump's always getting shot at, is anybody safe, Democrats? Talk show hosts on CNN? You just want to play a game of violence and instigation. Isn't that gonna promote evil and violence everywhere, whether you're a Democrat or Republican? So you're playing a game. You're playing a game. CNN, NBC, MSNBC. You're playing a game. So when all you Democrat politicians, now you're not going to be AOC, she canceled her speech today. The biggest devil from the Democrat Party. Yeah, she knows. All the Republicans are saying, we're going to do our speeches the way we do our speeches. We're not backing down. But the Democrat weasels like AOC said, oh, I was supposed to do a speech outside in New York City today, but I got to cancel it. Why? You instigate this stuff, and now you cause crazy behaviors to happen, and now you're worried. Yeah, now you're worried. Yeah. AOC, the big shot of the Democrat Party. The big shot, huh, AOC? Mm-hmm. All that evil. What are you afraid of, AOC? What happened? You see the weasel mentality of these Democrats, the weasel double standard mentalities of these Luciferians, these evil bastards that they are. Now they're crawling in their holes. Why? You promote and instigate all this stuff. And now you're thinking, oh, if it could happen to this person, then it could happen it might happen to me. Because you're promoting insanity and you're convincing anybody to be crazy. You're polluting their brains. Most Republicans are Christians. Most Democrats are evil. They promote evil behavior. They promote woke, rainbow, queerdom. They promote open border. They promote everything that is evil. So they're not afraid because the Republicans are, but maybe what if there's a crazy Republican that wants to retaliate? AOC? I don't know. They all have huge security teams, of course. They all have huge security teams, but is that enough? The president of the United States had a huge security team, and he come 7 millimeters of getting taken out. Philly Bob, how you doing, bud? So you could have the president with the biggest security team on planet Earth. He come within a quarter of an inch of getting taken out. And the left, the Democrat, just keep promoting and instigating violence. They promote it. It's been normalized now. You see those scumbags on CNN and ABC, it's normalized. They used to tiptoe around it. Now they come right out and say it verbatim. Constructive dialogue. Yes, Charlie Kirk, beautiful. He got so much done. He was for the youth. Make the youth think. Don't believe your Democrat indoctrinated professor at these Democrat run that are polluting these kids' minds. Charlie Kirk was the public enemy number one of the George Soroses, the Obamas, the Clintons. Charlie Kirk, young, coming up, maybe possibly a future presidential candidate. So as far as those evil scumbags, those elitists, those globalists, those billionaires, as far as they're concerned, Donald Trump has only got a limited shelf life of finishing up his presidency. Charlie Kirk is going for year after year after year, educating the youth. Charlie Kirk posed a bigger problem than any elected official. Charlie Kirk posed a bigger problem than any elected official because he was shaping and molding the minds of common sense and logic right there in face to face, asking questions in dialogue, asking questions and everything like that. So this Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, this Charlie Kirk is going to be a big problem. The Democrats aren't ever going to get anybody elected president again. And they had to take action. They had to take action. They're going to make this suspected assassin look like it was just his own doing. But if you put, they've been studying psychology and human behavior and what you're exposed to, and sooner or later you will get the results that you want. So when you indoctrinate education, you indoctrinate the social media, you indoctrinate these Democrat officials, then sooner or later you're going to get people behavior, whether it's to take somebody out for the results that you are looking for. They've been studying that since the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Group psychology, individual psychology, what comes into your eyes, ears, and everything. You can say, if you do this long enough, this will happen. That's why CNN and those evil talking heads, they run it on a spewl. They convince the public that these Republicans are evil Marxists, so they convince them. If you expose them to this long enough, then there's psychos out there that will try to take action. Psychology, it's beyond forensic psychology. It's what the Germans studied: Piaget, Freud, Pavlov, operant conditioning, classical conditioning, everything under the Z. How you can penetrate a human being's mind in certain ways to manipulate a certain behavior. And then they will have their goal. Well, maybe the assassin didn't have any connections or whatever. It's all speculation. I could say one thing, I'm speculating on what motivated was there globalist billionaires behind this. But I'll tell you one thing, the globalist billionaires are the ones that are running these propaganda Democrat networks. They're fueling the fire. They're feeding that machine. They're feeding that machine that produces all this narrative that all the Republicans are Marxists and evil. So they're fueling it, whether they put a contract on him and said, here's the money, whether it's indirectly or directly, they're fueling it. And they fuel it and they instigate and they just create this narrative day, morning, noon, and night. And then you're going to get this type of behavior. In the last year, there's been 25, 30 Republicans that have been targeted. And it's not getting any better. So what is the answer? What is the answer? You work over there, you get paid big money, you're the talking head for these evil globalists. Maybe there's a little risk involved. Because if taking out people has now become normalized and it's on the menu, and MSNBC talking heads are approving it, they're gloating it. The Democrat politicians wouldn't even have a moment of silence on the floor. That you're opening up a Pandora's box. And it's not the Christian way, but you're opening up a Pandora's box. That is not the way of Jesus Christ. Whether you believe what I'm saying or not, that's what it looks like. AOC canceled. Really? What is this? The Middle East? What is this? The Middle East? AOC? Huh? The Republicans said they're business as usual. They will not be intimidated. They won't continue in fear. They won't continue in fear. They're going to keep rolling the way they roll. But the evil weasels cancel their speaking engagements. What is this? Like Beirut, Lebanon? AOC? Chuck Schumer? Nancy Pelosi? Huh? You know who they're gonna interrogate today in Congress? That Chia head, that Corrine whatever, that Chia head, the spokeswoman for Joe Biden. What's her name, Francis? You know that Corrine, the French Chia head, when Joe Biden was doing auto pen, and Obama was the auto pen. Corrine whatever, Corrine French whatever, the black lady there, the spokesperson for Joe Biden, she's getting interrogated for the auto pen. Okay, Francis. As well as another guy. Yeah. They're having Senate hearings today. Corrine, whatever the hell her name is, that evil one. They're evil. But now there's accountability. Yeah, they'll interrogate her, they'll scare her, but nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. Joe Biden was incompetent, and they think just because nobody from the Democrat side came out and revealed it, that's a crime. Well, they could get on that merry-go-round, you know. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. They'll put it up there, Corrine, Senate hearing committee, blah, 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 blah. Joe Biden, the auto pen, blah, 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 blah. Obama had the pen in his hand. All the Clintons had that pen in his hand. Well, it was their duty to say Joe Biden was incompetent way, way, way back. No kidding, Billy. We all noticed it. We already noticed it. So they're going to spin that now for whatever they want to do. The media, even Fox News, which I love. Let me tell you something, folks. Do your own research. How do you know who the owner is? Here's one. Try this on and see if it fits. One size fits all. Could the owner of CNN, Propaganda Evil, be the same owner of Fox News? Huh? Hey, Lee, how you doing, buddy? Johnny D, how you doing? Follow along. Can the owner, billionaire of CNN, MSNBC, Disney, can the owner also own Fox News or have stock in it? So you got puppet masters going, here, Fox News, here, Fox News, here, give this narrative. Okay, here, evil CNN, and you got the puppet masters, and you clash, and they get ratings and they make money. Well, CNN tanked, they're going bankrupt, but Fox News is making it up. And here's the puppet masters, and everybody's like this. Oh, let's have a meeting of the minds and let's have common ground. They're stirring the pot. They're playing the puppet master, and they're stirring it. The globalist billionaires, and then you're a Democrat, you're a Republican. You're like sheeple. You're sheeple. You'll buy swampland, and you're like, yeah. Who signs Fox News's checks? Who signs CNN's checks? Yeah, the war machine. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same globalist billionaire. And somehow the Vanderbilts, BlackRock, and all those global elitists, Soros, and all of them. Well, Soros, they might get the RICO Act on George Soros, that billionaire, that evil uh, proprietor of a lot of stuff that goes on. George Soros, he might be getting called in for racketeering charges. Which I can't see happening because there's too much money behind it. There's too much money. It sounds good. Get that George Soros. Yeah, get him. I'm a gambling guy. Nah, he'll have his $1 million lawyer go in there, blah, 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 blah. By the way, there won't be any more campaign contributions this year. Well, yeah, that 100 million I give every year for you Democrat politicians. Well, by the way, there won't be any of that money coming in. So do what you got to do and clean that up. Yeah, okay. It's gangster. It's gangster. So there you have it, folks. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Johnny D. I wanted to do a follow-up, but I'm just saying the point of this show, I love Dom Cicali, Mafia gangster, reformed. Yes, great guy. I love him. But he got up there today in good faith and said, well, let's sit by the campfire, let's sing campfire songs, and let's have a meeting and dialogue and everything else, which Charlie Kirk promoted. Yes, that's fine and dandy. I'm not going to try to diminish that. But in case you haven't noticed, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Well, what is the answer? Retaliation? Revenge? Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Because it ain't going to end anytime soon. That's all. There's all this fear on the Republican politicians, and the Democrats are just skipping along. They're woked out, rainbowed, perverted politicians, universities, network TV, talk show hosts. They're all instigating, la-da-da, la-da-da, la-da-da. Will there ever be any heat on them? I don't know. Dom Cicali, if this was the mafia, I think they'd shut their mouths. I think they'd start to shut their mouths because now when people start taking people out, anybody is vulnerable. Anybody's at risk. So that's it, folks. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Lee, Johnny D. Good people. God bless you. Been a Philly Bob. Good. Everything's good here. I'm blessed. Everything is good. I don't want to promote violence. We're just throwing some things out there. And the victims of 9/11, God bless them. God rest them. Charlie Kirk, a great human being in the world. God bless him and God rest him. But what this will do is you're not going to snuff out Charlie Kirk's voice. All you're going to do is strengthen and embed his platform. Because now what you just created, you thought you could take Charlie Kirk and his message out. All you've done now is inspired 1,000 more Charlie Kirks to come out, even though I don't believe anybody can really measure up to this human being named Charlie Kirk. But you'll get enough soldiers to promote his message. So Charlie Kirk's message has not been put out by any means. If anything, it strengthens it and wakes people up to come over to the good side, the Republican side. So all that caused was some of these Democrats that might have an ounce of a brain in their head that might say, you know what, this has gone too far. I'm starting to think like a Republican. Christian morals, values, make our country great again. So you're going to get crossovers there too. So Charlie Kirk is not gone in vain. What could happen, and is what will happen, is his message will be strengthened. And the Democrats just got exposed even more, if it's possible, for how evil they are. And the propaganda and their evil politicians and their evil network shows just got exposed. They sit there and instigate it and everything, and they're gloating off camera. They're gloating off the camera. They're gloating that happened. They're gloating. When will they think, oh, well, that might happen to me? That could possibly happen to me. But just keep getting their paycheck, and they'll keep spewing all that propaganda as long as that paycheck keeps coming. Well, to each his own. AOC canceled her speech engagement today. I wonder why. I don't promote any of that, but that's that. So thank you, everybody. Football season started. Donald Trump, the stock market's up 600 points. Donald Trump is rocking and rolling. The Yankees won last night. Donald Trump was there. Everything is good. And then you got these sore losers, these Democrats that got to act crazy. And they're not going to stop acting crazy until fill in the blank. All right, folks. Thank you. I appreciate my beautiful people that keep me company and everything. You know, they shut me down, but I still throw. I tell you, don't give up. I tell you, don't give up, but we keep getting it in anyways. To see you 3 or 4 guys, that's worth it to me. And Dom Cicali, great show. I love you, buddy. I'd like to meet you someday. We have a good laugh. And I just don't agree with your little sit down policy with these Democrats. No. You ain't sitting by a campfire singing campfire songs, Dom. You can't sit because you're sitting with the devil. Okay, Dominic? You're sitting with Lucifer. You could sing campfire songs all you want, but then when Lucifer walks away, he's coming to get you. The boogeyman. All right? Thank you, folks. God bless. I'm going to keep following up, and I'm not, the Mafia stories, whatever. They shut me down, but if I got something I'm going to speak on, I'm going to speak on it. It's no sweat off my ass, okay? All right, folks. God bless you. I love you all. Do good. Enjoy life. Think for yourselves. Think for yourselves. Think for yourselves. All right, folks. Thank you.